But Glenn Beck was mentioned, and folks ask, and so they shall receive. If you had any questions as to who was behind Black Lives Matter, well, Glenn Beck has figured it out. And of course, it is a move by the secular humanists, led by one of the greatest secular humanists in the world.
So how much do you want to make a bet that the final phase for the black community is happening now, trying to get blacks to separate from their church?
What?
That way you can move progressive policies forward and you can completely destroy these people.
What?
It's weird because blacks are so close to God.
Pause it for 1 second. We're going to start at the beginning of this, and I want people to listen to his language, because basically what he's talking about, he's accusing Democrats of, at the very least, cultural genocide of black people. And so he, instead of saying the final solution, he uses another euphemism, and I would just listen to it in that light.
So how much do you want to make a bet that the final phase for the black community is happening now, trying to get blacks to separate from their church? That way you can move progressive policies forward and you can completely destroy these people. It's weird because blacks are so close to God, and yet God is not mentioned in a single page of Black Lives Matter's website. Gender shows up 4 times, sex 3 times, comrades shows up twice, but no mention of God. I'll tell you what this is. This is not a movement. This is a Soros operation. This is a way to get people to vote for Democrats for the next 200 years and to tear our nation apart.
Oh boy, wow. Where is the Samantha Bee and New York Magazine profile on this guy?
Yeah, well, I was going to say
New York Times. Go ahead, Brennan. Oh.
I was just going to say this is what we call Glenn Beck is sorry about all that. Take 900 or whatever.
Yeah, there was some hubbub over the New York Times op-ed section this weekend. Here's a oldie but goodie. So
empathy for Black Lives Matter. Oh, that was almost 4 years ago.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Well, that's what happened. To be honest with you, everybody knows that Black Lives Matter existed, and then Soros slid in and took it over as part of a final phase of
he monopolizes
destroying black people.
This isn't even coded anymore.
No, it's not.
This is
I mean,
extraordinarily blatant.
Oh, Glenn Beck is sorry about all that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is that a future headline or is that just the past one? It's probably both, right?
It's evergreen.
Damn, that was only 3 weeks after you wrote this op-ed. Good. Good thing the New York Times is better.
What was his goal? Like, this was before he relaunched his show. I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention to the day-to-day.
Yeah, no, Glenn Beck, at different times, their business model falls apart. And he thought this was going to be, he thought that that Trump would lose, I think. And so he was betting on, like, I'm going to be a never-Trumper Republican. And then he realized there's no money in that. And so I've got to go back. And Trump has won. And my audience, I've, molded as too much of a bunch of lunatics, and that's it. End of story. There you go.
In this interview, he's asked if he supports Black Lives Matter, and they ask him to clarify his statement, and he says, "What I am a supporter of is people I've met who say there's a real problem in our community, and no one is listening to us." No follow-up question after that.
Right.
Yeah, he played it for headlines, yeah.